Welcome to This Week in Pulling, the show that brings you all the action from the world of tractor and truck pulling. I'm Dan Mayer, joined by Jeremy and Miles Krieger, and each week we'll dive into the latest highlights, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes stories from the sport we all love. From upcoming events, standout performances, and the rich history that shaped pulling into what it is today, we've got you covered. So buckle up, This Week in Pulling starts now.
Well, welcome back. Episode number 28, This Week in Pulling. And guys, let's kick it off with, we were just kind of discussing the European Championships on this past week.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Hello again. It's good to see you. And boy, what a time we had watching that. I don't know about you guys, but I got to give props to my good friend Rudy Lindhorst over there in the Netherlands. He sent the links every day and was keeping me kind of in the loop as to what was pulling and where to go to look for results and to understand what the classes were. And we're talking, of course, about the European Championships in IJsselstein in the Netherlands, which I believe, as I understand it, is in the southern portion, like the deep southern portion of Holland and the Netherlands. And I think they pulled, 3 days over there? I think it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Or,
I was going to say, I got 3 links I watched the one that I was sent and watched for a little bit. But man, what an event!
Unbelievable.
We got to get over there.
They had we got to go. I'd love to go. And we've talked about Mata. We've talked about so many of the the events over there. But I really enjoyed watching this one from IJsselstein, and you really got a good feel. I love the way they did it on the live stream. You knew where each competitor was from. They had the international flags for Germany and Italy and Finland and of course Holland and the Netherlands. It was really interesting. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but they also had several multilingual announcers. There was an English announcer, a German announcer, and then I believe also one who spoke Dutch or Finnish as well. So and maybe Swedish too. I think there was 3
or 4 there.
There was somebody covering really everything that they had. And boy, it was really fun to watch. I got up and my wife walked in and she's like, "You're off this weekend. What are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh, it's in the Netherlands." She just looked at me like, "Oh, you really are eating up with this pulling stuff, aren't you?" I'm like, yeah, I am. But thanks to Rudy for sending the links, and I know I forwarded them to you guys, and I enjoyed the light mod class. A lot of the smaller super sport kind of stuff I didn't really understand, but I saw some cool different, like a Fiat tractor. That was pretty neat to see. And some different liveries were pretty cool. And the names of them I thought were really neat. But I enjoyed the light mod class, I think, the most.
Now, isn't that considered where all the countries, what do they call that? Where all the countries come together?
Yeah, like the European Championships.
Wasn't there a different name to it, or I don't know. I can't think of what it. But yeah, like their Grand National kind of deal, where everybody comes together kind of deal. I think is what.
Rudy just called it the
Euro Cup.
Euro Cup.
Yeah,
Euro Cup. That was the word. Okay, that was the word I was looking for.
But
that whole scenario, I studied that out. I studied that out a little bit more, after looking at it, and basically there's 2 separate series from what I can understand that sort of run over there that you can actually go and get points in. And some of the folks, it's I think there's a factor in there where you get double points if you go to certain events, even still. And there's this modifier that's included in the points race. So it's not real cut and kind of concise and clear and dry like ours might be. There's a little bit more of a factor to it all, but certainly enjoyed watching, and the energy that they bring, the announcers, and the energy that you hear in their voice and the tone and the quality that they have. Super impressed with that. And the competition, a whole lot of full pulls. And I'm pretty sure that one of those YouTube streams on either Thursday or Friday was over 9 hours long.
Yeah.
So
they pulled literally
that's
all
a lot of pulling.
Yeah.
Well, and the NTTO puts it on, and that's the Netherlands Truck and Tractor Pulling Organization, NTTO.
Okay. Because now there was something I thought Rudy was telling us when we were with him at Toma about the Euro Cup. I thought was there something you had to be invited to run the Euro Cup? It wasn't just Like everybody just show up and I thought there was
Yes,
something.
like
You
I
had to
think
be
there's
invited.
certain parameters.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when we were at dinner that night, we learned that there's like a certain degree of parameters that you have to meet in order to be able to be there, and but it still seemed like they had tremendous numbers to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of that might have been just in the fact that there was some redundancy with pull-offs, but I don't know what the super semi type class would be, but it was almost like what I would categorically call like a stock semi class that I was watching a lot of. A lot of the music. There's been some discussion on the message boards over the course of the last week or so about kind of what makes a good announcer, and should the announcers have music behind them, and should they have music playing. I believe our friends in Europe believe fully and wholeheartedly that music is definitely something that is needed just to kind of keep engaging the show. But the fireworks displays and some of that stuff were just remarkable. So
Absolutely.
certainly
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And
Now, was their announcer the same
kudos to
announcer
Ruth.
that announced the class with you guys at Bowling Green? Like it was the same guy, right? The guy that was over there.
Henrik, yeah, he was
One of them.
Yeah, he was one of the four that I had saw. They really didn't show him too. They've always got the guy with the red pants too.
Okay. Well,
I think he's the German guy. I'm not 100%, but
and I don't know about you guys, but I just kept watching the finish line flagman. Just the
yeah.
did you notice that? I'm thinking, okay, well, Scott Doty would be, kind of this dude's just.
Yep, here's another full pull. Like, I mean, shoot, halfway down the track, most of them. Now, I thought there was something with that, like the afternoon or something, like their first run or something. Just about everybody makes a full pull.
Yeah, well, I think it's by design. Like, I think they want to have a pull off. I don't, we probably should have had more questions for Rudy, and maybe we can get him on.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility. We're going to do that
on another episode here to talk a little bit more about. Pulling in
so
Europe.
I've got some.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
There you are, Miles.
We hear you, but we don't see you.
There he is. Okay.
I've got some stuff here. Sorry. Yeah. I've got some information there. There were 2 Dutch and 2 German announcers.
Okay.
So Rudy had sent all that to me. There were 2 Dutch and 2 German announcers that were part of it. And then there's a gentleman they call DJ, and he's one of the guys there from that area. Then Eric, who was there with us. And
okay.
then the gentleman that you were talking about, there's so many guys that there's a lot of guys that there were some people. Like, one of the questions I had asked Rudy is like, when certain teams came up, it seemed like specific people made their way trackside to have a microphone.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know if that was like out of familiarity or what, but there were times where you'd see a guy in blue jeans and a like a t-shirt make his way trackside, and he would bring all sorts of energy and excitement and talk about somebody, and then all of a sudden he wasn't back on the screen for a good while.
Right.
And I don't know, like I said, if that was more like, hey, this is the opportunity for somebody from X amount of team to come and speak, or how that worked entirely. But it was definitely an awesome production, and like you said, Jeremy, I appreciated being able to kind of, I'll just admit, I had to kind of Google some of those flags to understand what countries these guys were from entirely. My middle school history has failed me.
Miles, did you see the finish line flagman?
Yes.
Yeah,
awesome. like just kind of toss it up and be done, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But speaking of finish line flagman, after you talked about that, Dano, with regard to RJ Simon's pass at the Enderley, I think I've gone back on full pull at least a half a dozen times and watched the guy scale the wall at Urbana.
That was something. I mean, that was, that was a little too close for comfort, I thought. I mean, he was getting to the point.
I giggle, but I shouldn't.
Yeah, it was like, wow. He had time to throw the flag too. Did you see that? Like, I mean, literally, it was jump over the
Oh,
wall,
yeah.
throw the flag, and yeah, he was working double time there. So guys, let's talk a little bit about that. There's been the discussion about, music with pulling and, trying to change up different things that, that is done. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, we've with the farm show, we've had music there that not the last couple of years though, right? Didn't they do that? I want to say a couple of years ago already, or they,
Yeah.
I don't
But
think that they've.
Yeah. There's been some music for
yeah,
sure,
well,
and I think that's. I'll be honest with you. Energy is one of the elements I feel like has got to be kind of inflicted into the show, and I do think at times music does do that. But then there are people that are incredibly loyal to the sport. There are people also that are very, very aware of the goings on and how things work. And I don't comment much on message boards, but I read message boards, and and there's a lot of times on there that they, people that are on the message boards say, hey, if you're an announcer, don't talk when a tractor's spooling up.
amen.
We want to hear the turbo whine. We want to hear that sort of, we want to hear the things that are occurring. We want to know and listen to, and when they engage that clutch, we want to hear the grind and know that that thing's getting ready to launch. And if you're blabbering, you're kind of screwing that up. So I'll be honest with you. I have admittedly tried myself to be aware of that and to be, more focused on the idea of, hey, when a vehicle is spooling up, or when they're on the line, let's let the fan that's sitting in the stands or at home that might be watching the stream take the opportunity to enjoy the sound, the music that fills the night from the power plants.
Absolutely. And I think, once the chain is tight and the green light comes on, it's kind of at your discretion. But yes, I absolutely agree with you. You don't want to, you want to give the fans the absolute full length of the pass from start to finish. And you don't talk until they burn it in down there. When you see the flag fly, then you can talk if you feel like you need to, for sure. I agree with that 100%. And from a musical perspective, I will say, Miles, you'll remember like Henry, Illinois back in the day, like Jerry Reed was really into, kind of, throwing some songs that sort of were descriptive to particular pullers and things of that nature. And, I think that was fun sort of back in the day, but I really enjoyed what they did in the Netherlands. Like it was just sort of like, but in the background, like it wasn't, way in your face, but
Over the top, like
but it
noise.
felt like it played the whole time. Like there was always music playing, but it was sort of, in the background, sort of just there. And I like that. I thought it was like, I don't know if they had a DJ or if it was all just on a tape or how that worked, but I will say, they have their own full pull song that I feel like was pretty interesting. I don't know how that all came to be, but it sort of reminded me of Footloose. It's like full pull, full pull. I don't know if you heard that, but I was like, okay, well, that was pretty cool. It sounded like Footloose there for a minute, but I can't tell you how many people I sent that link to. Like, watch this. There's pulling in another country today.
And it's unbelievable what a spectacle, that, when you start YouTubing more and more events, because I like to, kind of keep up to what's going on. I can't really understand, I can understand the winners and I can, understand that stuff. But yeah, no, just trying to follow along, their series and how everything works. And, and going back, guys, to that comment about, not talking when the tractors are running. The first year that I announced, it literally was the first complaint that I ever got was from a guy at a local pull in New York. And he says, you know what? He says, these tractors and trucks don't make much noise for a very long time. He says, but when they do, don't talk. And I'm like, okay. That was like one of the first things I'd ever heard, complaint, that, oh, okay, I'm going to take that to heart. And that's one thing that I've held on, to a bunch of years because, the same thing. It's, when you think about it, our sport, there's, what you got 15, 20 seconds at the most, let everybody hear them. And, that's makes sense.
Well, then if, in the case that something goes awry or, a tractor gets under the turbo or things of that nature that you and I kind of take for granted, if you're talking over that, they won't hear it.
Right. And especially pro stocks, people love to hear them,
Oh yeah, I mean
the wump wumps of the pro stocks, and that's
well, and I
that's a
don't know
noise.
about you, but I've gotten to be where I even like, I like to listen to them come off the track too, like mini rods too, like get them unhooked and let them fly off the end, and then once they're quiet or away, then you can pick the mic back up, and I mean, you got all kinds of time to talk.
Speaking of pro stocks coming off the track, I had a conversation this past Friday. I was at the pull in Dover, Ohio, OSTPA pull, and I don't know remember who I was talking with, but did you guys notice this year, like with some of the pro stocks, when they pull off the track, some of the flames?
Yes.
Like if you don't have your visor down, somebody's going to get their eyeball or their eyelashes singed there. One of the because there was a couple big fireballs coming. I know Rhett Parrish had one somewhere, and I was like, holy smokes! It just came back. I was like, ooh, that was. But yeah, I was surprised that hopefully nobody gets keep them visors down until off the track or something there, because seen a couple of those big fireballs this year. But yeah, no, that was just something you had mentioned pulling off the track there, and I had thought about the other day, but we've definitely got to get over to.
We've got to, if there's there's got to be a way we can do that. I would love to go. And I know like the other ones, it seems like I don't know if it's Putin or Mata. One of them doesn't happen anymore. I think maybe it's Putin that doesn't happen anymore. But Mata, I think, is the power weekend. But I feel like that's always on top of something big for all three of us.
Beginning of June, I think, is when they do it. Because that Henrik that was down with us at Bowling Green, I guess that's at his farm. And he was telling me about how they just bring everything into the farm, and they have this this big awesome tractor pull, and then a couple days later it's just back to being farm. And
so maybe,
it's
we shoot for Eiselstein, because I feel like maybe that's not a heavy weekend next year, early September.
Yeah, like the week after Enderley or something like that.
Rudy,
that would be.
Rudy, if you're listening, get the wooden shoes ready and let's go.
And yeah, I happen to check a couple classes there, and like you say, that light modified class, always the the heavy the super stock, the alcohol super stock class. Boy, do they have a lot of color and a lot of neat looking vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and that's what I like. They had a bunch of super sport classes, and I was trying to understand, okay, what does that mimic over here? Is that like a hot farm?
I think it's some of them like a super farm that I noticed. They were like, but yeah, I don't. We'd have to have our expert European play-by-play guy on here, either Henrik or Rudy. We'll have to get them on here and discuss what. Explain to us a little bit more on European pulling, because it's great to watch. I mean, it's exciting to watch, but I just like to know what everything kind of, what does this compare to? What does this compare to? I mean, obviously, unlimited mods are unlimited mods, but it's like some of these other classes and their two wheelers are kind of different too. They've got some different.
There's like there's a VW Beetle in there.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole bunch of.
I'm expecting to see a Ford Taurus with an alligator down the side of it show up. I mean, they got some really cool, some unique vehicles. But
and I really want to see that Gators tractor. I mean, I know we've talked at length about that tractor, but I would love to see that at some point. I think it would be really neat to see those unbelievable like V12s do their thing.
The Lego. Remember the Lego? What was it? The Technic tractor or whatever? I don't remember seeing that one around. I know that was around back.
Yeah.
I want to say when my oldest boy was doing the Lego thing. I remember he was able to find one of those Technic tractors from over in Europe there that they ran, but I didn't see any of those. That particular one, if that one's still around, but.
I want to say that Gators tractor runs. It's either Merlin's or like some sort of Rolls Royce airplane engines. Then they're 12 cylinders, because the headers have 6 pipes on each side.
Yeah, well, and then there's that mini rod too. Did you see that mini rod with that Allison looking aircraft, whatever that was?
It almost looked like a rotary motor.
Yeah, it was flat. It wasn't. It was different. I need to.
We gotta go, fellas. We got to figure out a way to get over there. That'd be awesome. Well, I mean, and how many times have we seen our friends from the Netherlands come to Bowling Green? So how crazy would it be if us three crazy Pulling fans showed up over there? Like we'd have a clue what's going on.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, they would. I'm sure they would take us right under their wing and show us all the, because everybody that's been over there everybody's had a good time.
Miles, only if we can camp in a barn in a single man pup tent, right?
I thought he said never again.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. See, the bosses went over to the European indoor pool there in Ahoy years ago.
Ahoy, okay,
I got to be involved with a lot of that, the day-to-day stuff. I got to help get all that arranged and get the containers set and get the tractors over there. And I didn't sleep for about 40 days while I tried to make sure everything made its way over there.
Right.
But I never got, made the trip. So I've learned a lot and met a lot of great folks over there. And those folks they were incredible when the bosses went, because I had so many questions and needed so much help. And so like I said, I've always had that sort of desire to make the trip over and go, but also realize that that there's a lot of opportunities that the pullers get to make those trips too, which is pretty cool. We had some fantastic representation from the U.S. this year over there, so you start digging through it and looking at it, and some of the best pullers in our sport ever have made the trip over to compete either on the indoor spectrum or the outdoor spectrum over the course of the last 20 years. Pretty neat.
Yeah, and it actually goes back 40 years. I mean, Rudy sent me a list of, it's unbelievable. You start talking about all the folks that have been over there, and it's incredible. I want to say it's like mid 80s that they started doing that. And it's just, you name it, they've been there. And it's pretty cool and some of them guys like Peter Stone has been there a couple times, on the list there. And that's pretty neat that, been going on. I don't know what happened with that facility that they were at, the Ahoy pool. Do you know what happened with it?
I think a lot of it was funding related, but I could be wrong.
Well, and I think that the new season will come out in December, so we'll know the dates for all of the European shows in sometime in December. And I want to say that you'd have to fly into somewhere like Rotterdam or maybe even Amsterdam to go to these shows. So those are the big major cities. But I'm ready. Let's do this. I would love to go over there and at least experience it. At some point. I think it's definitely on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah, definitely check out the some of the classes, and that'd be definitely neat to. We'll have to get Rudy. We'll have to get Rudy on here, and he'll have to kind of walk us through, so we kind of look like we know what we're talking about when we go over there.
Well, and if the dates come out in December, like we'll be down, and we'll have some things that we can, we won't really be talking about current active pulling, so we can maybe bring him on and talk a little bit about, a precursor to next year's season, and maybe do a little recap on this year's. And he was telling me the other day about how, like, we have Ken Vini, and over there they have the Larson brothers, who are, in their 80s and pulling minis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then you talk about all the vehicles that have gone over there, the old Judge and Mission Impossible, one of Tim Angler's tractors.
And I think probably some weight transfers have been over there as well, and especially on the mini side. But I'd be interested to trace the lineage of what's over there versus what was here. But yeah, I think it would be really, really fun to do that. I would love it. And every year I feel like Rudy's just kind of teasing me. He's like, "Hey, we're going here, we're doing this, and when you coming?" And I'm like, every time I was going to come, you're over here, because he always comes like
he does the month or whatever, right?
The month or whatever, and so you can't go when Rudy's not going to be there.
Yeah, we need Rudy to be there, and then Henrik there, the announcer guy, will have to. Boy, I don't know if we could. I don't even think we can keep the crowd going over there. We'd have to learn that song before we.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we'd have to figure it out. But I feel like you need to wear a lot more sunscreen over there.
Yes. Hey.
We got a guest
Uh-oh.
appearance here.
Yes.
We got a guest appearance.
You got soccer tonight?
Hi. No.
Say we don't play soccer till Saturday. We're gonna play a game on Saturday.
All right. Well, it's good to see you, little man.
Yes. There's the
Say
pedal
hi.
pull champion here.
Yeah,
I saw all the pictures.
Oh.
Yeah, you're a pedal pull champion, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I saw the pictures. I saw you and Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you, little man.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep.
Getting bigger all the time.
Absolutely.
Growing like a weed. You ready to go back?
Well, that's what it's all about there,
okay.
for sure.
Talking with us here. How's that sound?
So, yeah, we've established Stein. So what else happened last week? I had a weekend off, so I didn't really do a whole lot of pulling. But I know you were up in Ohio. How did that go?
I was up in Dover, Ohio on Friday night. An interesting show up there with OSTPA. It was all no noise. The whole show was completely, there was light limited supers. There was the, what do they call it? The light limited pro stock class where they take the limited pros and the light pros and run them together at 9,000 pounds.
Gotcha.
Then they ran the, let's see, what else did they have? We had 4 classes, the super stock class there and the pro stock class. Well, the 4 classes there. And it was kind of a unique show. I've never seen anything done like that where you had no noise on the grounds whatsoever, but had the opportunity. There was quite a few of the New York guys were there and running in the super stock class.
Okay.
Henry and Dave Everman were there, as well as Lance Mysick. Hans Boxler was there with his diesel. And it was good to catch up with a lot of those guys. And
when Mysick was just in Holland or over there.
Yes, he went to MATA this year. Yes,
Okay.
he went to MATA earlier this year. And yep. And seen him
Now,
at Bowling
Dano,
Green. What's that?
Is this place, is Dover the brown jug?
No brown jug that I'm.
Okay. For some reason, they used to have a place called the Little Brown Jug or something like that, and I always thought it was in Dover, Ohio, or somewhere where they had something.
Isn't that like a harness race?
Yes.
Okay.
They had harness races before we had the tractor pull going on.
I don't know if it's the same place. It maybe I'll have to do a little Googling on that as well. It's all right, but I figured I'd inquire there. So that sounds like you got to have some time reuniting with some of your former New York friends, right?
Yeah, it was a good time. It was good time, and the super stock class there with Ohio State. We had big Champions Tour super stocks. Jeff Odom and Bill Keener were running in that class. Hans with his basically his NTPA diesel super setup on his tractor. And then you had a couple of the state level, 505 tractors that ran. And yeah, they, lower the hitch on the big Elkies and, Keener won it with the Bambi tractor. Hodem was second by, I think it was 1 3/4. I've got to share it with you guys. I've got a chart that Jeff Manius made. And it's her founded or something, and John Dunlap's our guy to go to, but this one here it's a sheet and it's laid out, and you can kind of go through it and figure out okay, well, we got 3 100ths of a foot between two competitors, and it'll tell you in inches how much that is, and so it's pretty neat. It's I'll have to share it with you guys.
Well, Miles, to answer your question, it's Delaware.
Yeah, I came
Okay.
here just a minute ago.
Okay, so now Delaware, Ohio, I remember years ago going to a ATPA pull there.
Dad went.
Like a world finals or something it was, and if I remember right, the crowd was not very good. But,
Yep, Dad went there. I remember.
But there was a lot of equipment there. I remember that. There was a lot of pullers there, but just it never really took off. It was supposed to be like a finals kind of thing is what I think the ATPA, something like that. Delaware, Ohio, and then there was another one I went to somewhere in Ohio too. But yeah, no, that was very good pull though. Dover, Ohio, highly recommended if you're out that way. I know this weekend they got their big Coshocton event. I think I think their points are wrapped up. I think it's just going to be like an Enderley kind of deal, like bonus money on the line. 2 days in Coshocton, Ohio, there for OSTPA. So they've got that coming up this weekend. So that's they're I don't think not 100% how they do that all, but somebody had mentioned it was just a money deal that they run it like a bonus at the end of the year. So, but hope that goes good for them. Myself, I'll be in Woodbury, Tennessee on Saturday as we've got the Woodbury FFA poll and Mr. Foster behind that event, and they've got some big things planned for this weekend. I think he's got 4 classes coming in. He's got light limited supers. He's got light super stocks. He's got 2-wheel drives. And I'm trying to think. I think there was another. I know they're going to have like a twin engine modified shootout kind of deal. I know Chase was bringing his down. Wayne Bunnage was bringing his. And I believe there was one more coming to put on more or less a shootout there with the light mods. So that'll be pretty interesting. And then he's got quite a few light supers coming as well. Colton Whitworth is supposed to come on over with his tractors, and Bobby Jones, I think he mentioned Bobby Jones was coming, Dave Esteb. And then you've got, the local, Fuquay tractors. You got,
well, he's got 50 mods or 50 pro stocks coming too.
Oh,
right?
50 pros too. Yes. That was the other class. Yep. And then Ken Hale's diesel there. And so, yeah, that ought to be pretty exciting. It should be a good weekend. And the Haneys, they're always tough. And
Essery should be there too, right?
Yeah. The case, they should be there as well. And, I would imagine, Phillips would be there. So they're looking to have about
a few play probably.
Yep, that's what about 12 or so. They're hoping to have a good dozen of the light supers, and for the first time in a couple of years, he says it doesn't look like the R word is supposed to happen. So
good. Let's hope it doesn't, because they have been absolutely plagued down there with. I know they need it as farmers, but maybe let us get to pull in Saturday night, then you can let her loose Sunday.
Yeah, let them earn a little bit of money. This it's a fundraising deal for the FFA, and one thing that was interesting that I found out last year with this poll is all the vendors there are all affiliated with the school, or they don't let any outside vendors come in. So like if you're in the, say the Glee Club and you're selling popcorn and, cotton candy, somebody else can't sell that, so you gotta, so that's kind of a neat deal how they do that. So,
well, I want to see what the new hat looks like this year. I understand it went from like a burgundy to a green. So I'm interested to see it. Sure.
I was going to show off the last year, the burgundy hat, but I seem to have it must have went into a box or something.
Yeah, apparently only the winners get those. So you and I were really lucky to get them at Canton, Ohio last year.
Yes, when he came up, but 2-wheelers should be a good field. The 2-wheelers there, the whole Mid-South group, and then I think he said Mikey White was coming on down, as well as Ricky Long with their truck.
I bet they pick up a fair amount because the season's over. So I think anybody that's close will definitely head down.
And I know Chase was bringing their 2-wheeler down as well. So yeah, it should be a good field of tractors. And if you're down in the Woodbury area, which is southeast of the Nashville area, real easy to get to. You just go east of Nashville there, and actually it's north of Chapel Hill, and you go over across there, and I think east of Murfreesboro is what last year is what I had figured where it was. But yeah, great pull. And so if we'll have it on Full Pull Live as well if you're not able to get out there and enjoy it. But yeah, it's should be a great weekend for that event.
I got a little housekeeping thing for you gentlemen as well. I don't know if you've been in that situation, Dan, but I've had multiple pullers who have reached out to me asking about applications for the farm show.
Sure.
That application is live now. So it had led to a dead link on the website. And I talked to B yesterday, and he told me for the interim to have people email his email there, the Brian Lively email that was posted on the website there for media stuff. But since then, I have, or for sponsorship stuff, I guess it is. I think he's listed on there, but I have since heard from him, and he told me that the app is live on champpull.org under the
It is.
Pullers
Okay.
tab.
Okay.
So anybody who might be watching that is interested in finding the application for the farm show, we're getting close. I mean, it's hard to believe that we're a couple weeks away from a deadline of that deal, but I think the application deadline has typically been, as of late, somewhere around October the 15th, and then sometime in early December we ought to see a list, and I'm anticipating we'll be working off of a very similar deal there. I would assume they'll let the Outlaws get their points race settled and know the finalists of who that would be, at least in that two-wheel drive class and whatnot, before they make any of their final decisions. I think the points are pretty clear cut at this point in terms of who the 5 would be if they were to take 5 from the Outlaws, whatnot. But certainly not my place to talk about that because I have no control over that. But I did have some folks inquire about the application, and I wanted to share that the application is live as of the text message that I received since we've been on this call. So it is live. So folks, if you are interested, make your way to champpull.org, click on Pullers, and you should be able to find the app.
And get that done soon, so you don't have to wait. Like, just go ahead and get it in, get it in the mail, and then you can breathe easy and know that it's there in plenty of time, and you won't be dealing with the deadlines there. So good call out, Miles.
Yeah, because some pullers got their application sent to them, so they were kind of like, some got sent to them, and then others had asked. I know I had the same situation there Friday about hey, and I'm like, last I knew, I said it was online, so that was okay. So that
it had not been online for some reason. The link was not working properly.
Okay,
but I will say they do have a working mailing list that they send those out to, and those mail they went out right around, I'm going to assume, the 1st of December. That first, or the 1st of September, I'm going to guess that list went out. And my name is on some tickets now for annual season tickets there. I can tell you that the deadline for purchasing those tickets is quickly approaching. I think around the 3rd of October to secure the renewal for the tickets from last year's space, if you want to do that. So it just seems mind-boggling to me that we're in this position already, and it's the season of the year where we're having this discussion of, hey, it's time to secure your farm show tickets, and hey, make sure you apply. And holy moly, it's here. So exciting times, and kudos to all the amazing organizations that have put on great shows this summer. I think that's kind of one of the things I want to try to subscribe to for myself personally is to get out and find new venues, new places, new organizations that I personally haven't witnessed in the event side of things, and maybe support them. I'm not saying just from the announcer's perspective, but more so from just being a fan and wanting to be able to catch an event. And if we're down the road somewhere and I have a chance to do it at a sheep show and jump in the truck and go watch a pull, then I want to do that. So.
And speaking of which, this week is the world's largest brush pull in Georgetown, Ohio. They got rained out tonight, session number 1, but they go Thursday, Friday, Saturday here the rest of the weekend. And usually some really good classes of pulling there. So if you're in the Cincinnati area, want to take a little drive, it's not too awful far there to the. Now I'm going to ask you guys: have you guys ever been to that pull? I personally have never been there.
I never have.
Okay.
I have not. I've been. I've never done that. I've been to plenty of those. Just does the announcing for the event now still, doesn't he, Larry Richwine?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's involved with that event. Yeah.
Well, and I will be this weekend with the KTPA at the Marion County Fair. Saturday evening, 7:00 start time, Lebanon, Kentucky. So 7 classes, big doings down there.
Oh, wow.
6,200-pound light limited super stock tractors, pro stock 4-wheel drive trucks, super modified 2-wheel drive trucks, 12,500 hot farm tractors, hot stock 2-wheelers. You've heard me talk about them. They're the coolest thing I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
And then they have 2 non-sanctioned classes. They run a 9,500 farm stock tractor class and then a non-sanctioned street diesel class. So 7 classes on my docket for Saturday evening, the 27th at the Marion County Fair with the KTPA in Lebanon, Kentucky. That's where I'll be.
All right. And how many more events are they got left?
What's your Miles?
I said, and I don't have to go anywhere. So, yeah, we're in the midst of all kinds of crazy with last weekend. While you guys were, while you were on your way home, I'm guessing, Dano, Saturday morning at 5:55 a.m., my little girl and I departed for a travel softball tournament. At 6 o'clock, shortly after I rolled out of here, my mother-in-law and father-in-law picked up my oldest for getting her to the bus for a cross-country meet, and my little boy played a game of soccer. So we had to divide and conquer, and had 3 Kriegers on the field in the span of an hour's time in 3 different counties across about a 65-mile, 70-mile radius. And next weekend, Landry has the Indiana Middle School State Championships in Terre Haute. Lachlan has a soccer game at 9 a.m. in Washington, and Lindley plays in an all-day tournament in Columbus, Indiana. So we get to figure out how to make all that work. This weekend, we only have 2 of the 3. We don't have a softball tournament. We have a cross-country meet and a soccer game. And Landry races in Jasper at 9:30, and Lockie plays soccer at noon in Washington, and he has to be there at 11:30. So just about the time Big Sister gets off the course, we're going to have to head north to get back for our soccer game, and it's a part of the exciting season of the fall. So straight from showing sheep to straight into the field of competition in a different realm than Dad gets to be used to with a microphone.
Well, and to answer your question, Dano, the last event for KTPA will be October the 11th.
Okay.
At down in around Glasgow in Temple Hill, Kentucky.
Okay.
After this weekend, they're off until that time.
And before we depart, got to say congratulations, Kyler Mayhill.
Absolutely.
First victory, first national win there in 2-wheel drive. So the old blue, great job there for Kyler taking over the driving there. And young man,
his dad had to pay the bet off too in front of the crowd on the stage doing some push-ups. So kudos to Chad. I mean, you think about proud moments. I mean, I sit and watch my kids participate in their sports, and there are times where tears well up in my eyes because I'm so proud of what they're achieving. And I have to believe that somewhere Chad was doing that exact same thing, watching Kyler, who has been sitting back in the wings just awaiting his turn, similar to what we've seen with Tanner this year and some of these other young kids doing their awesome job. And so that's, it's pretty awesome to see the next generation. Makes me feel old because I remember when he was born, but certainly, that's no different than Tanner as he's getting ready to be 17 here in October again. He and Ella are my birthday buddies. So the Nelsons have their kids. Ella and Tanner are 6 days apart, and Ella shares my birthday. So
nice. Well, and speaking of birthdays, I think that's the only thing that I dread about the farm show this year, guys. You've been talking about, we're almost there.
50.
Coming.
Yeah. 50. You old fart.
Love you, man.
Wow.
Love you. So the good news is, I guess, that my birthday is the Sunday after the farm show, so I won't have to suffer while I'm there turning 50.
It's a can of corn.
Fair enough.
It's a can of corn.
Thanks,
it's
Miles.
A can of corn.
Love you. Mean it.
Yeah. He'll be there soon enough.
Yeah,
he'll be there soon enough.
I turned 45 next month, so it's I was just 21 yesterday.
I know. It's just unbelievable.
But this is episode number 28. Hard to believe. We've been at this for 28 weeks.
Episode 28 here, and like you say, get out and enjoy some pulling. It's supposed to be a nice weekend here, and if not, check it out, Full Pull Live.
I got a question I want to pose at you guys, and obviously I used to do this with my website all the time.
And he's frozen.
Type of thing. But here's what I would like to pose. If folks are watching, I think we should debate and discuss our top moments, highlights, best passes, those sorts of things that would occur. So I think we need to have some of those, and maybe we'll take one of those over the course of each of the next weeks and discuss for me, which pass was the highlight for me? If I were to give you the 2025 pass of the year for Miles Krieger that I witnessed, which one would it be? But what I think would be cool is if we got some feedback from the folks that are watching and let them tell us, hey, I think these are topics. These are some of the things that we would like to see you guys kind of discuss and debate back and forth a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love that idea. Bring it.
for sure.
Send messages, call us, text us. We would love to get your feedback and talk about the things you want to talk about too, especially as we're getting close to the off season here and we've got some downtime. It'd be great.
Always a good debate, right? Always a good debate.
Yep. Puller of the year, mechanic of the year, debut of the year, rookie
Yes, I
of
like
the
it.
year. Those are some of the topics that just come to my mind right off the hit. The one that may have had the tough luck of the year, the worst kind of round of the year, those sorts of things, which there's a few that come to my mind on that topic even. But, you think about where we kicked off in February and for some pullers even in January pulling has really become a year-round thing. Here we are talking about the end of the year, but there's so many people that are prepping for the beginning of the year. I saw last week, of course, Tucker and his group announced the dates and the application and information for their events to be coming there and going back to Gordyville in March, which is awesome.
Totally awesome.
That warmed my heart to read that. So kudos to Clint and all the What's Smoking folks and to all those people that are putting a promoter hat on and putting events on. I love it. I appreciate you. Those of us that are just diehard loyalists to this sport, we appreciate the risk that you take and the effort that you put in. And maybe that's something we need to start to circle a little bit and do as we get through these archives of where things might slow down just a little bit is also kind of put together a calendar of what we know we've got coming from the indoor perspective. As typically right around that first weekend of the year, I think it's the Horse Park in Kentucky. And then from that point, it's really rolling all the way down into Florida and holy moly, before you know it, it's March and you're in Louisiana again. So just saying, let's go pulling.
Yeah, and we were discussing that the other day. Really, the only month now with really any pulling is December, and you got the banquet, got the NTPA banquet, PPL banquets usually middle of November.
It's November 20th this year, I think.
Okay,
Yep.
and then Outlaws is right around beginning of December too, isn't it? I want to say right in that.
It usually is I'm not so certain it won't be right at the same time as the PPL banquet, almost like that third weekend in November-ish, which it may be later now. Like years ago when I was announcing with them, Allie and I went to Kansas City for the banquet, which I think now it's in Lake of the Ozarks or something like that. But,
something like that, yeah.
It's been years since I've been there. It's been since 2006 or 7 that she and I went to that banquet. 2008. Right. I can tell you, it was 2008.
2008. All right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that'll do it for this week. This week in pulling. Let's see. Anything? Let's see. We got Woodbury this weekend, full pull live. Then next weekend, I think we got 4 events going on that next weekend there. So it's going to be a busy weekend coming up the following weekend. But this weekend here, I know OSTPA's pulling there in Coshocton. There's Woodbury, Tennessee this weekend with the Mid-South Circuit and the world's biggest brush pull there in Georgetown. So there's a few options there.
And KTPA in Lebanon.
KTPA.
Come on out.
Yes. With the 2-wheel drives.
2-wheel drives and the long wheelbase Supermod 4s and those hot street 2-wheelers. I'll have to take some videos and show you guys. They're pretty neat.
Yes, I got to see that. So yeah, anybody's got any suggestions? Let us know. I run into quite a few people now at the polls, so that's good to hear from you folks. And yeah, we'll move forward with some different ideas. And sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Thanks, everybody.